Hello all heroes and welcome back to Invincible Guarding the Globe, and today it's time to talk about the latest character to be released into the game, the highly anticipated Angstrom Levy. Yes, I know it's Levy, I'm just bad. I'm just bad at names, but I know it's Levy, not Levi. I'm just bad. I'm just really bad. Tragically, I had the worst luck in any kind of event I think I've ever had, where out of the entire thing, and keep in mind, I didn't buy anything. I actually did go at it without spending any money, believe it or not, which maybe has something to do with my bad luck. But I used my gems to get all of the GDA alert cards from the shop that I possibly could, and all of the refreshes from the shop that I possibly could, not counting the big pack, and still only got 2 Angstroms. In the process, I got an actual ton of Doc Seismics. I got him up to 5 stars, with more on the way. I've got enough Doc Seismics here and some change to get him up to Legendary Plus once I can just get enough criminal fodder. Basically just waiting for, I've got an exceptional isotope here, so I need another exceptional isotope to get that to exceptional plus. I do have Titan here as fodder, and we kind of go from there. But basically, Doc Seismic really lucked out, and I even got pretty decent Mauler amounts. The machine gun Mauler especially, I got a bunch of, but Doc Seismic really turned up for some reason. But that's neither here nor there. Today we're going to be talking about the character himself, and he has got a lot of unique traits here. So, Angstrom Levy is a criminal support character. He's the very first elite support character in the game so far, but he's an interesting support because he's more of an offensive / buffer support. So let's talk about that. With his tags here, he is human, malefactors, ranged, grounded, and support. Nothing too crazy there. And he is actually a ranged character. He really could have gone either way. But basically, and I love his animations, but basically he just pulls punches from other portals that he throws out as a ranged attack. So, looking at his abilities here, his main ability is Blast from the Past. Angstrom Levy summons a T-Rex through a portal in a truly stunning animation that I absolutely love, that he opens next to the target with the least HP. The T-Rex bites a target, dealing 150% damage, decreasing their defense by 25% for 6 seconds, with a cooldown of 22 seconds. So, it's not a massive amount of damage, because only 150%, it's an alright modifier, but considering he's a support and that is a smaller modifier, it's not going to do crazy damage, but it does go for whoever has the least amount of HP. So if you've got like a ranged attacker who's surviving with a sliver, this might actually end them. Plus, the defense decrease for 6 seconds, on the other hand, is actually pretty great. 25% defense decrease is a massive debuff for an impressive 6 seconds, so that one really plays nicely with other hard-hitting DPS characters. Twinspiration is his Elite Plus ability. Now this one is where he gets highly unique because he actually gives himself an extra tag from this ability. Angstrom Levy acquires the Mauler Twins tag during the battle and increases the charge speed of the Mauler Twins allies' main abilities by 5%. So, this simple sounding ability has a lot to unpack. So, first things first. He gets the Mauler Twins tag. So basically, in addition to his other tags here, if he has this ability, he is considered by the game a Mauler Twin. Now, what this means, first of all, for him, is he increases the charge speed of all Mauler Twin allies by 5%. So these two characters here, Mauler Twin the original of course, and Mauler Twin definitely not the clone, their main abilities here will get a nice little cooldown reduction. Basically, they'll get to be used sooner than usual. However, this does go beyond that, because if we take a look at Mauler Twin Machine Gunner's genetic power and Mauler Twin Physicals Dynamic Duo. For each Mauler on the team, meaning Mauler Twin, increases the team's physical attack by 4% and physical defense by 4%, and Genetic Power increases energy attack by 4% and energy defense by 4%. Basically, he can play with these abilities. Before, if you wanted to get like the maximum boost, you just had to have a full team of these Mauler Twins, which while that could cook on a good day, it also means that you are severely limited in your abilities and severely lacking any kind of like a support. But with Angstrom now getting the Mauler Twin tag, he can trigger these abilities as well, and receive the perks. Basically increase it by 4%, receive the perks, and play well with a Mauler Twin team, giving it a proper support character without busting up the maximum potential of the Mauler Twins' special skills there. So it's something that it's useless in any team that doesn't have the Mauler Twins, but if you do have a Mauler Twin team, which is a surprisingly popular niche team out there in the community, you slap Angstrom on there and you're going to have a good time. Next, if you get him to Exceptional Plus, which I didn't, but that's fine, at the beginning of the wave, Angstrom Levy applies a random buff, increasing his allies' stats by 12% for 10 seconds. So basically what I take this to mean is that he could buff like attack, he could buff defense, he could maybe buff other stats. It's hard to say. It doesn't really give great details, and I would test it, but I don't have an Exceptional Plus Angstrom. But effectively, whatever stat he buffs gets a nice healthy buff at the very beginning of battle for 10 seconds. Nice thing is this doesn't have to be just Mauler Twins. It applies to everybody. But keep in mind, if he is in a Mauler Twin team, everybody's going to be getting the Mauler Twin buffs, and then he's going to give everybody else, or everybody, additional buffs from this Protected by the Levy ability. So just a whole lot of buffs flying around. Mauler Twin buffs from the Mauler Twins, buffs from Levy, a lot going around. And then finally, and this one confused me at first because it made me think he was an attacker. End Them. This is his Epic Plus ability. When using Blast from the Past against an enemy below 7% HP, it kills them instantaneously. Otherwise, Angstrom Levy applies a wound of 125% damage for 5 seconds and reduces the enemy's ability cooldown by 50%. A lot going on here, but basically, if the dinosaur comes out on an ally or an enemy that is below 7% HP, insta-kill, just boom, done. That's it, that's all they wrote, they're out of there. They get eaten by a dinosaur. If they are above 7% HP, in addition to doing the damage, he applies a wound of that 125% damage for 5 seconds, which does make the damage from this thing much more respectable. The 150% on its own is not setting any records, but adding in the wound debuff, you're starting to get somewhere with that. And reduces the enemy's ability cooldown by 50%, meaning they can't use their main ability nearly as quickly. Now, this is very interesting because, of course, there's another character with an instant kill ability in the form of Omni-Man. Of course, we have Gut Punch here, where if they're less than 10%, the target is immediately killed by this ability. However, I would argue that Angstrom's edition is dramatically better for a couple reasons. One, Blast from the Past has a cooldown of 22 seconds. This doesn't have any kind of cooldown, so it's just always going to buff this, basically. Whereas Omni-Man's edition here, Gut Punch, has a massive 40-second cooldown. Additionally, this T-Rex is always going to go after whoever has the lowest HP. Problem with Omni-Man is you might have a robot in the back line with barely any HP, but if he's busy tussling with a monster girl that has maximum HP, he's going to use that Gut Punch probably on the monster girl he's fighting. Nice thing about this is Angstrom doesn't give a frick who's in his way, because he'll just go after whoever has the lowest HP, greatly increasing the chances of hitting an enemy that is below that 7% threshold, and just boom, wiping them out. And even if he doesn't, the fact that he does apply a wound really does increase the damage that this does, which I do appreciate. So that is the kit he's rocking with here. Here's what I'm picking up from Angstrom and how he seems to work. You want him with Maulers, period. I mean, his whole ability here is completely nullified if you don't use him with Maulers. You want to, at the very least, use him with at least one copy of each of these Mauler twins. Now, if you really wanted to go nuts, you could do a team of 2 of these Mauler twins, 2 of the machine gun Mauler twins, and then Angstrom chilling in the backline. If you can put forth the resources to build that team, and that's a resource-intensive team, but a lot of people actually have built some Maulers, so if you can do that, you might be cooking something, you know? You get them up to Elite Plus at the very least, so that they do unlock their respective buff abilities for the Mauler Twins tag. And who knows? You know, you might actually start cooking something there. Outside of a Mauler Twin team, he does get the buffs from this ability regardless of who he's with, and the T-Rex ability, especially at Epic Plus, is exceptionally good. Unfortunately, you do lose a lot of the ability you get from having those Mauler Twin buffs, and you absolutely positively need to get him to Epic Plus in order for him to get any kind of offensive utility. My version of Angstrom at the moment is severely gimped. I had no luck whatsoever. I got like 1 Angstrom at the very beginning of the event, just randomly. And then I got 1 more Angstrom kind of halfway through, and then I never saw his ugly mug ever again. So my version of Angstrom is gonna be pretty much on the bench for anything significant until further notice. However, here's the thing. He only really does one thing well, which is work with the Mauler twins. But what he does well, he does really well. Even though Angstrom's not going to be replacing anybody on your main team, the fact that he does completely validate the creation of a Mauler team now actually gives him a fair bit of value. Even if you only want to build 1 copy of each Mauler, that's still another team that you can build for characters that were otherwise meh. Now, you pack the Mauler twins in with Angstrom, now you're cooking something. Now you are definitely cooking something there with those stats, and if you're one of those people who did build an entire team of Mauler twins, maybe 4, maybe even got 5 Mauler twins, which I'm kind of tempted to do now, then yeah, you slap Angstrom in there and you're gonna start doing something, because a good Mauler twin team can go surprisingly far and punch well above their expected weight. Just a little tip there. Before we do leave, I do want to show off the animations for good old Angstrom, because they are freaking awesome. We'll just get into this fight here. Not too hard, but look at that. He's pulling like Mauler punches through the portals, and I absolutely love it. It looks so dang cool. Just actually, I mean, even though it's a ranged ability, but he's also just pulling punches through the dimensions. I absolutely adore it. And now he's about to do his T-Rex here. There he goes. And crunch, crunch. See, that's the thing where he's a good character if you put him with the Mauler twins, but his animations are just delightful. I absolutely love it. Unfortunately, it's hard to tell how much damage he's realistically doing because we don't currently have, like, post-battle statistics. Hopefully that will get added in the future, because it's a very common feature for idle games to be able to actually see who did the most damage. Hopefully we'll get that someday, but we're not going to worry about that right now. Crunch, crunch, crunch. I mean, that's just so cool. He pulls a freaking dinosaur from a portal. I mean, what more could you want? What more could you possibly want? But like I said, without a solid Mauler team and the fact that I do not have him up to Epic Plus, he's severely gimped for the foreseeable future. In the future, when I can get him up to Epic Plus and when I can crank up my Mauler twins some more, yeah, he'll be good. But for now, I'm just gonna have to be patient because the luck just was not with me for this event. So, let me know down in the comments below if you were able to get some more copies. Were you blessed with the Epic Plus Angstrom? I hope you were. Somebody somewhere must have gotten my luck, which, you know what, that's just kind of what happens sometimes. But I think that is all we have for today. Let me know down in the comments below if you put together that Mauler team and how it's been working for you, and we shall see you next time. Have a good one.